All right, what is going on and how y'all doing out there today in Atlanta Bird Gang Land and also on Uncle Steve's Lounge out here? How's it going? It's your Uncle Steve on a Monday, September 19th. I'm here with the aftermath, folks, and you know how we do it on Mondays. We talk about after we take a deep breath from Sunday's game, we talk about exactly what went down. How does this, how did it happen? What happened? And, we have yet to talk about a win. So that's the part that I'm going to get to today. And I'm going to have a couple of guests on in a couple of seconds, but I did want to start off by just acknowledging a couple of, I see my brother Tiny Jones is in the house. Old man Stick. Hey, Devonta, let me tell you what. Devonta, it was shades of Devonta the way that running game was going yesterday. So it did remind me a lot of when old man Freeman was in here. So I will say that. Travis says, I'm ready for the smoke. Travis is listening to us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Please go over and push the button, get us subscribed. Don't forget to like the videos, too. That gets the stuff out into the atmosphere. I appreciate that. Glad to see you in the house, Travis. My brother Gregory, what is going on? Mariota is who we thought he was, and he was a good stopgap quarterback we were building. It is what it is. And, Greg, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit. So I'm going to stop real quick before I go to anybody else. Because here's the deal. It was only about 2 weeks ago when we were starting the season. And a lot of folks, I would say when we were given preseason predictions and everyone was giving their best guess on what's going on, the majority of folks were saying 7 wins, 6 wins, 5, and even my son as low as 3. I'm trying to figure out where did that logic go from 2 weeks into the season. I know we want to win. Y'all don't understand. I want to win. I don't want to say more than anybody else, but I want to win too. But has anybody looked at the quarterback we have on the team? And though the expectations may be high, there's a reason he has a total 2-year, $20 million contract. You pay for what you get. We went to the thrift store to get a quarterback. We didn't go to a high draft pick. We didn't go to Neiman Marcus or or Brooks Brothers or any of the other high-polluting places. Folks, we went down to Food Depot, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and we plucked out Marcus Mariota. And I'm trying to figure out where the fake outrage is coming from. And it's amazing to me. Again, I'm disappointed in every loss. I don't want that to be mistaken. At the end of New Orleans games, I'm living it like the rest of y'all. I'm sitting there. I'm at home. I mean, I'm in the stadium. I'm feeling y'all. I wanted to win. But I'm also not trying to fool anybody. We have Marcus Mariota as our quarterback. So when I keep hearing all these criticisms of, oh man, he just can't complete a pass. Oh, he doesn't have it all. He doesn't have it. What did y'all think? Why do you think we got a quarterback in the 3rd round, which is low, but the 2nd quarterback in the draft? Y'all think for some reason, just the same, some folks in the fan base, the same people, Ben Kirk is going to be a nice quarterback. Say, why don't we give Josh Allen a shot? Felipe Franks looked good at Arkansas. I mean, there's a reason why folks are backups on the team. Let's not pretend like Marcus Mariota was this gold nugget that was on the Raiders and nobody just wanted to pick him up. Folks, we are in transition. I don't even want to say the other word, but it is what it is. We are in transition. Some might call it a rebuild. I say transition. Same thing. We have a transitional quarterback, meaning at the highest we're going to get with Mariota is an average quarterback at this stage of his career. Man, Mariota, you can't get those passes down. No crap. He wasn't getting the passes down in Tennessee, or he'd still be there. There's a reason why he's backing up Derek Carr. Why are we pretending like all of a sudden this guy was supposed to come out playing like Tom Brady? I'm standing by my 7-win thought. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and deny if we win an extra game or two. But I'm trying to tell y'all, stop with the fake acting like he was supposed to be the X factor. And I got news for y'all. The team is not doing bad. Yeah, we had a meltdown in the 4th quarter against New Orleans. But for the first 3 quarters, y'all seen football y'all haven't seen in 2 to 3 years. You've seen energy you haven't seen in this team in 2 or 3 years. Don't deny it. I'm not telling you it's perfect. But I see the remnants of a decent nucleus possibly being built with young guys. Yesterday, 28-3. Any other time, if we had somebody else quarterbacking, we've been dialing that game back and putting in the second string and calling it quits. We almost won that thing yesterday. There is something different in this nucleus. And right now, at this moment, for us to try to pretend like Marcus Mariota is that special piece we needed is fooling ourselves. He's a veteran quarterback who started a ton of games for Tennessee. But at the end of the day, he's a cast-off. And there was no fight. There was no free agent war to get Marcus Mariota this year. As a matter of fact, Vegas was like, good, that's one compensatory for us. This is not a slight on Marcus Mariota. He is what he is. Average at best. As a fan, do I want those passes to get down? Absolutely. But in my heart of hearts, am I surprised that they're not? No. It was a miracle that we did what we did. And I don't even think we did what we did because of the greatness of Marcus Mariota. I think he's the prototype being brought in to see what works in this offense. And I think behind the scenes, wink, wink, I think Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot know this. They're trying to win games, but let's not pretend like this was supposed to be the end all be all. I just had to get that off my chest because I feel like that's just something to me that I think a lot of people don't understand when we start talking about, this quarterback and what we're supposed to expect out of him. No doubt. Anyway, Grunt joining me right quick, and I apologize for the rant because my man been sitting here waiting for me.
Hey, Uncle Steve, take a deep breath.
Hey, man, but listen, let me give a formal introduction. This is my buddy, Smitty from the Sports Machine. He's on YouTube. If you guys go over there, please check him out, man. His content is A1. Hopefully have another guest coming in here pretty soon to talk about the game and talk about the reaction to the game and things like that. But Smitty, first tell him where you are, brother, and then just give me your overall thoughts coming off the rip about yesterday.
Hey, before I get started, man, I'm trying to find the people around here, man, so they give me that collection plate. You just preaching. A lot of people in your comments already know me, man. If they don't, you can catch me on Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube, sportsblog.com, and Spotify. But man.
Tell me where I was wrong.
Hey, if I had to grade your paper in school, you'd probably get 100 out of 100.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what are we fooling ourselves for? And this is not to say, Smitty, that as fans, we don't want the best for our team. There are some shining moments in that game yesterday. The special teams play, the interceptions at crucial times, stopping the Rams on third down in the run game in the fourth quarter when you needed a stop. How many times over the past years we have not been able to say that? And now, and that's what I'm saying. So why, when I'm looking through the world of social media and everything like that with our fans, we're acting like we had Tom Brady on the team and Tom failed us. Why are we doing that for a quarterback that's making, look, this year he only making, what he making, Smitty, this year? I think he's only making
$8 million.
$8 million.
12
We're
next year.
paying this cat $8 million. Our combined salary for our quarterbacks on this team for the next 2 years, well, not 2 years, I think Ritter signed for 4 years, a little bit over $5 million. So 5 and 20, if my math is right, is $25 million. We are paying $25 million for the next 2 years. Two quarterbacks.
Smitty. Keep in mind, Lamar Jackson making 23 by himself this year.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell folks. It's easy math. It's not hard to figure out. It's really not. So when I see my brethren, go ahead.
Let me
Go
say
ahead.
something right
I'm
quick.
sorry.
This is the reason why I said the Falcons needed to find an identity, and this is why I want them to find it on defense. Because I think defense is what's going to carry this team down the road if they get all the pieces that they need, because we don't know when we're going to get another, A1 quarterback. Let's be real about it. We can call for Desmond Ridder all we want, but we don't really know how he's going to turn out. I still think he needs to sit for a little while, let Mariota get ran in the ground and drug or however long. He making the money, so you let him play. But this is also why I said the Falcons need to run the football every single game, because he's not one of those quarterbacks you can depend on, one that can bring you back. He's just not that guy. And I've said that over and over and over again. Like you said, he is what he is. And that's what he's going to be.
And Smitty, I also want people to realize yesterday, contrary to belief, that was the Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champions. They've only added a couple of pieces. They haven't added a whole lot. So when you start talking about who we played and who, listen to that press conference Sean McVay gave yesterday. Oh, he acted like a man who dodged a bullet. And he said it. I don't care if we won by 1 point. We can clean the rest of it up. That team was ready to play. When have we ever heard a coach coming back saying, we dodged a bullet? Coach Smith and his squad had us ready to play. And I know, I'm going to ask you about this. And I know, listen, Coach Smith has been battered around, of course. Last week was a bad moment for him in the media. Probably let his feelings, his emotions get the best of him. But I'm here to tell you, if we had better personnel in place in a couple of positions, I think we'd be close, Smitty. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they can knock Coach Smith all they want. And, I give him some of the blame, but a lot of things that have been going on these first two games, we've been talking about it for 2 weeks. Situational football. Yeah. Situational football. If they get situational football under control, the Falcons could easily be 2-0 right now. And people, they knock them, but they just don't know how close they are to being 2-0. Fast start game 1, couldn't finish. Slow start game 2, came out with a different energy the second half, almost won. So you got to give Arthur Smith his credit. Even though he's not calling the plays that you think we need, he's not on the field throwing the football, making overthrows, fumbling the football, making bad reads and things of that nature. But I started to gain a lot of trust in Arthur Smith and what he's trying to do. Because, like I said, this energy with this team is just different. You bring in a rookie on special teams in the fourth quarter who really hadn't played, he blocks a punt.
Haven't blocked and scored a touchdown since 1990. That's something, man, dude. Me and you were little kids on the playground.
Hey, Augustine, I ain't gonna even lie to you. Back in that time, I was playing pop pencil at the desk in the 6th grade.
Some paper football.
Right. Just kick the thing and thump it over the table.
I'm just trying to tell you, man. I'm going to go through some of these comments folks are coming in.
Go ahead.
Curious. I appreciate you. I'm having a hard time seeing a couple of you guys. If you're not signed into StreamYard, and I apologize, I'm running through these. If you sign into StreamYard real quick, or put your name by your comment so I can acknowledge you, because y'all know I like to acknowledge my people who come in and comment. I appreciate you. Says, man, I'm crying and I'm laughing at this team. Brother Joe, what's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? Killian is in the house. Say, what it do? Ridder at least needs to get a better look in practice, I believe. And we're going to get on the Ridder thing in 1 second, Smitty. I have a question to ask.
Hey, ain't no thing.
Facebook user says, I'm standing on my preseason pick 9-7. My brother Mo in the house. What's up, Unc? I keep reminding myself it's a rebuild, even though the regime is denying it. DJ says he is a yard sale. You're wrong for that. We got him off the clearance rack. Mariota sucks. Travis comes back and said, when talking about Marcus Mariota, the dramatics says it best. What you see is what you get. Y'all see, y'all think I don't remember that? Y'all don't know. Facebook user says, preach, you swear he was brought here to be the answer. He was brought here to be a starter until they're ready to get Ritter the green light. Killian says, I said the same thing. 7-9. 7 to 9 wins max for this squad is a win. Greg said on Uncle Steve's Lounge says, if I said 9, we lucky, but not much improvement nonetheless. Brother Jerome in the house. What's going on, Jerome? Nice to see you coming through, my brother. Jeffrey says, I think the team is okay, but we are the only team that will find a way to lose. Good to see you from your Black Dynamite. Daniel in the house says, the effort of this team to fight back, man, I liked it. How can you not like it? You're down 3 possessions, and you literally had the ball in your hand, ready to move on down. Let's transition real quick to I'm sorry, I got 2 more of these. Can't even say Tom is great no more. They're D1 yesterday. We're expecting Mahomes, but we ain't there yet. And that's the thing. I don't even want Mahomes. You know what? Give me.
I ain't even expecting that.
Who's the average? Who is the poster boy for the average quarterback? You would say right now.
I'm gonna take it back to another Atlanta Falcon. Give me Chris Chandler. I deal with that.
Oh yeah, average quarterback. An average quarterback with a decent accuracy, because we needed that accuracy yesterday. And Chandelier, he wasn't built to last, but he would throw accurate passes.
He made those throws. Right.
Brother Tidy says Marcus Mariota is making about 4.5 million, and that's 4.5 too much at this point for what we're getting.
And think about it, Uncle Steve. You got a quarterback making that a game. And he's making it for the whole year.
Right. Absolutely. And that's crazy. Tidy said apologies, it's 8 million in 2022. Still too much.
Yeah, like I said, 8 this year, 12 next year. And that's still a steal.
Still too much. Sean come in and says Derek Carr as an average quarterback. I could live with Derek Carr.
Yeah,
Garoppolo. Listen, people knock Garoppolo for a lot of things. You can say that, but every time Garoppolo turn around, he get W's. He gets W's. He might not be talent.
What they did in Seattle yesterday wasn't even fair.
Yeah. Which oh man, we're gonna get into that in just a second. We're gonna get into that. Let's go back to the Ritter conversation, Smitty. Let's go. Here's my thought. Like everyone else, I'm ready to see Ritter too. And I believe Ritter is gonna have his shot. I think at 0-2, and knowing that we also have another game on the West Coast, I don't even know if the team is going to travel all the way back or not. Are they going to stay out there? I think you let Mariota go to this game against Seattle. I think this is probably the most winnable game you're going to have out of this 3-game stretch. And let's see what he does. If he falls on his face, maybe coming back home, give the fans something to buzz about. What are your thoughts on that?
If y'all go to my YouTube page right now, I just dropped a video talking about this. And what Uncle Steve just said, I said the exact same thing. You give him one more game. Like I said, you're not even a quarter through the season yet. Give him one more game, see what he does. And then you have to start questioning, is he that dude to carry us the rest of the season? If he has a bad game against Seattle, who's missing a star defensive player, who's very average on defense after that, then you have a quarterback in Geno Smith who's been around for a while. He had a flashback the first game, but the second game yesterday against the 49ers, he looked like Geno Smith. So this is the perfect game for Mariota to build some confidence in his arm and his throws. The Falcons get that pass rush going again, because I think they can sack Geno more than 4 times. The wide receivers going to get Kyle Pitts, going to get everybody going. Just open up the playbook on both sides of the football. But as far as Mariota, I think this possibly is his last chance.
I mean, and this is not a shock, folks. You don't give a quarterback a 2-year, $20 million contract, and we have an out in this contract. If we cut him before the business year next year, they don't owe him anything. So this is actually a no-lose situation for the Falcons in their organization when you think about it.
Yeah, he got his guaranteed money up front. So
yeah, so
after this year, ain't no guaranteed money. You can throw him in the shopping cart and push him out the door if you want to.
Brother Jimmy's in the house. Jimmy says, here's the reality. The Falcons are who we expect. Potential to do great, but not quite there. Mariota ain't going nowhere because we're low-key tanking. I'll say it. Yeah, and I don't think listen, I'm gonna tell you what a tanking team does. A tanking team doesn't come back in that game against the Rams yesterday. So I disagree with the essence of tanking. I think you have some high motor guys on there, younger, but high motor guys that are ready to take that next step. We just haven't done it yet. I think you got to give these guys a little time. What you think?
Yeah, you definitely have to give pass rushers time. Because Arnold Ebiketie had a great game, first game. Yesterday he had struggled a little bit, but with young pass rushers, I think you have to give him time. You look at Lorenzo Carter, he played okay yesterday, but as a team, defensively, that's where most of their youth is. So that's going to take time. And if y'all don't think so, I seriously think y'all need to start watching another sport. Football is the hardest sport to transition into. You got to learn the speed of the game, different schemes, because it's totally different from college. And this is why it takes time to develop. Speed of the game is most important. Schemes, just learning a lot of things, playbooks and things of that nature. But I'll give them time, man. Like I said, it's a rebuild, and it's going to take time. So I didn't expect much, but I was around the 9-8 mark, and that was because we won 7 games last year,
right,
with somebody else, with older players, and they came from another scheme. But now, since they got their own players that they want on the roster, it's going to take time for them to gel. It's just that simple.
I mean, and listen, we all talked before the game started about patience, and now I don't see any from folks. Again, I get it, because when you start most of our games, when you start at 1:00 and you're sweating by 4:30, and you've gone through each play and your team loses, it's exasperating, it's disappointing, it's not encouraging, and you're pointing at every single thing that you see that went wrong. I'm just telling y'all, I'm not telling anybody how to be a fan. You could be whatever fan. You could be the pessimistic. You could be the super optimistic. You be what you want to be. I'm just trying to explain to folks, at the beginning of the year, we knew what we had. We knew the talents that we had on this team. So, I don't know. I don't get it.
But what's crazy to me, Uncle Steve, like you said, we knew what was going on and what we were going through transition. You get rid of a 37-year-old quarterback who can't scramble, but he can make the throws. Then you transition into a mobile quarterback, which is totally different. So you have to switch up your offensive line. You have to get a more mobile offensive line. They added a lot of size instead of mobility and athleticism. So at the end of the day, when you transition both sides of the football, as I said earlier, they have to find a way to gel. And until they do that, they're going to keep coming up short. But I think it's closer and around the corner than a lot of people think. Because, like I said, the first 2 games, They only lost by a total of 5 points. So they were in both games.
How do you like the offensive line so far? I know.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I think they played pretty well.
I love it. Even though he's got sacked 3 times. 2 of those sacks were on him. The only sack that I think that was his fault was he didn't see Bobby Wagner coming up the middle. You have to audible to a hot route or audible to a draw play and run right at him and run past him. So I think Elijah Wilkinson is probably one of the biggest sleepers this offseason of pickups because he's been playing lights out. And like you said on my show last night, we did not mention Aaron Donald not one time in the entire show.
Not once. You didn't get. They had one little segment that they had probably already pre-done, and they were talking about, they talked to Aaron Donald and whatever. But when you talk about during the game, they didn't speak about him at all.
Nope. Not a one. And he's the best defensive player in the league. And you heard his name on TV probably about 3 times the whole game. He didn't get after the quarterback. He made one play in the backfield on Cordero Patterson. But other than that, he was a no-show. And we're talking about the best defensive player in the game. And they even, to be honest, they even killed Ramsey the whole game until that interception late in the game. Yeah, he didn't do anything either.
I'm so through with
Ramsey. He's one of the most overrated cornerbacks in the league.
Did you see all that after he got the interception? Like he was the man out. He was getting toasted by the rookie wide receiver during that game. Drake London made him look like a rookie.
Hey, Uncle Steve, look in the comments. Rusty Moore Jr. makes a great point.
Go ahead. Rusty says, what's up, Russ? Russ says, this is why Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot went so hard for Deshaun. It's hard to win in this league with average quarterback play, let alone the best average play we are getting right now. Just can't wait for the week where I get the notification saying Dez is the starter for that week. Not saying we are going to win more games, but because of that, we need to see what he is or isn't before the draft. And not only is that an astute point, Rusty,
that's a great point. Awesome point.
That's when I go back to when people started, listen, the personal stuff, unfortunately, was going to happen. We were going to get word of that. That's fine. But as an organization that my GM is trying to go out and get the best available at that time. And at that time, Deshaun Watson was the best talent available. Trust me, this time next year, folks ain't going to be thinking about that stuff. People will be thinking about it, but it's not going to be as much drama as it is this year. You know why? Because Deshaun Watson going to come out there and ball like he normally is. And I like my GM that's going out to get talent. I'm not getting into all the stuff. So save your typing for what happened legally. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying my GM went out and tried to get the best talent on the field. And so, I appreciate that, Rusty. Go ahead, Smith.
And what was the reason why it was an awesome point is because I look at his last season in Houston. He did not have a number one receiver, and he still threw 33 touchdowns and for over 4,000 yards without a number one receiver. You give him a Kyle Pitts, a Drake London, and a Cordero Patterson as running back or wide receiver, Deshaun Watson, I think, wins MVP, hands down.
I'm joined in here. We're joined by my brother Alberto coming in here, who had me worried. That's why you saw me looking off into the thing, Smitty. Look, I'm sitting here trying to technically get him in here, and he's like, dude, it ain't working, man. It ain't working. I said, dude, do I look like I'm a genius? What am I?
Man, that thing was giving me all sorts of problems. It was basically telling me, start your own damn stream, damn it.
Brother, introduce yourself to the folks, man.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Alberto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's right, 95 North up here in Lonely, Rhode Island. So that's what we doing up here in these parts, man. Repping the Falcons to the fullest. But how you gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Man, we
good,
fine.
man.
We're good. We are talking about it, and I started the conversation, and I don't know if you were listening from the beginning, Double A.
About halfway.
And really what I started with was kind of the realization of fans, not telling you not to root for them, but the realization when the final gun is shot after 4 quarters that we gave good effort, but we don't have the talent, especially at quarterback, needed to win some of these games. And I think we talked about it yesterday on Smitty's stream, but I just wanted to go to you real quick before we get back into the comments. Do you think fans are over expecting to think that Mariota is going to be more than what his talent is right now?
Yes and no. Yes, because the familiar stuff that he has worked with Arthur Smith in Tennessee, I think maybe some folks hold on to that a little too much. He did fizzle out there. Tannehill ended up taking his spot. Let's just, be honest with that. He goes to Oakland and he doesn't really show nothing, Derek Carr being there. But honestly, I mean, Mariota comes as advertised. He was a shaky guy from the jump in his earlier career. Didn't make the accurate throws, wasn't right with his progressions, and brushed a lot of the things that he did. And, he's showing those same tendencies now with Atlanta. So at any given point, it may be time to pull the plug on that and see what's waiting in the wings, man, because the young man's ready. I'm talking about Ritter.
And at this point, it's not personal.
No.
I think people are Mariota, but Arthur Smith's system, but you know what we trying to do, folks? We're trying to win games. And when you see this ragtag, and I'm just using that ragtag bunch of guys that cast-offs, the Lorenzo Carters, the Rashawn Evans, the Eric Harrises, the Dean Marlowe's, all put together, and we were one play away from beating the defending Super Bowl champions at their place yesterday. Had not been for a high throw. So that speaks volumes to me. So when I hear people talk about, coaching, which again, you have the right to criticize, but when I see that, there's something special about this mix. And I think if we elevate that quarterback position just a bit, we could be talking about a 2-0 team, y'all.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, those miscues, those, indecisive decisions that Mariota was making, fumbling in clutch plays, Arthur Smith not being aggressive as he should have been on a 4th and 1 play, especially, with the Saints being as hot as they was week 1. And even last week, yesterday, some of the decisions that he was making, some of the play calls were head scratches. We spoke about it, like you mentioned on Smitty's stream yesterday, Parker Hesse in on a 3rd and 14 where in the slot, where we all know that man can't offer anything but block, Never mind and that's just being truthful and honest. You know what I mean? We do have a lot of cast-offs, but at some point, man, all right, man, it's just I don't know, man. Something's got to give. It's very frustrating, definitely.
And another reason why I think running the football is important for the Falcons, it plays to Mariota's strengths. If they run the football effectively, and you saw it the first game, they run effectively, they're going to put the defense on their heels, and that's going to give him room to run as well. So until you get that running game A1, it's going to hold this team back but this defense is so aggressive, they're going to start causing turnovers, and those going to turn into points as well. So I see it coming.
Oh yeah.
But I'm saying that was just one play. But that one play could get this defense the mindset that the Baltimore Ravens have, that the Pittsburgh Steelers have.
True.
That aggressive mentality on defense that could carry this team.
Let me get a couple of more comments in here. Y'all, false starts in the house. What's going on? This team is good enough to win. My brother Tidy says, I say after 2 games, it's too early to play Ritter. The dangerous part of playing Ritter is too early is that if he comes in and is even worse than Mariota, then you are in a very tough situation as a head coach having to bench Ritter and go back to Mariota. We made that point to you. You don't want to.
You put him in. You put him in. That's that. That's that.
Yeah.
He got to go the rest of the season. That's that.
But you'll have a situation very similar to what's going on in Frisco, where Trey Lance is brought in and said, this is your job, even before the first preseason game, gets injured. Now you have to go back to Jimmy G.
Go crawling back to Jimmy G.
Gotta grovel a little bit, you know. And Jimmy G is sitting back saying, yeah. And think about it. Jimmy G restructured that contract to get peanuts. He was supposed to get $20+ million this year.
$26 million.
And I think he cobbled that down to about 6.
7.5.
Man. Woo! Facebook user says I have to applaud the efforts yesterday.
Absolutely.
Jeremy Cox, what's going on, Jeremy? How you doing? Said pass to Edwards. He had a lineman being pushed into him on the release, so I can't blame Mariota on that pick. Other turnovers in the Hail Mary, different story. Ritter will come in at some point, but don't want to rush it. I did see him get pushed a little, and yeah, I guess, Jeremy. Yeah. You know what the problem is? I've seen throws come out of his hand that were high before that particular one. So I think, unfortunately, I'm thinking back to what I've been seeing from him. I haven't seen low passes from him. I've seen all pass, even New Orleans. Every pass he threw was like all the guys were Yao Ming. And even Yao Ming would probably be like, yo, dude, lower it down. The way he was fast. And so I don't know. While Wallace is in the house, what's going on, Wallace? He's listening to us on Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Appreciate you. Anthony, what's going on, brother? Said we still have time to turn the season around. It's just 2 games. Here's the problem with just 2 games. And don't get me wrong. I hear you. And I hear people when they say just 2 games. You lost 1 division game already. And you lost the game you lost a winnable game. Both games are winnable. So when you start talking about the ability to close, we're losing that ability, AA. And I think you want to establish, especially with a young team, you want to establish that closing very early. So that's where I hear what you're saying. I do. Wallace also says, I know it's very frustrating right now, but we have to just be patient and see if there's going to be some improvement with Arthur Smith play calling and have a little bit more passing plays. Wallace says, I know that Arthur Smith is trying to win games, but I think he's doing too much with the RPO calls, and I know that have to run the ball. I think we have to get more passing plays. What do you think about that?
Yeah, with the RPOs, it falls on Mariota and his decision making. He had one play in particular, I believe it was a 3rd down, a 3rd and long, and it was Cordaro, and then Olamide Zacchaeus was in the backfield as well. And on that RPO, he had to make a better decision at pitching the ball to the necessary person, which was OZ. He gave it to Cordaro, and he got stuffed. So it's little things like that. If you're gonna run that RPO, you got to run it to perfection. And maybe it's just getting too complex for Mariota at this point, because it plays to his indecisiveness when he has to make those direct decisions. Man, it's just not biting well for this team.
I went back into the studio. I didn't even see somebody sitting out here in standby. The fake Robbie Harlan, John Harris is joining us here on the broadcast. What's going on, brother?
Gentlemen, how you doing this afternoon?
Good yourself.
We doing fine. Now, let me get straight to the point before you start going on your tangent. I need to know right now, before you start, I need to know, would you try to change quarterbacks now, or would you stick with, for right now, stick with Mariota? Interested to see what you say.
I'm sticking with Mariota.
Okay.
And we had a discussion yesterday, me, Ryan Walker. Right now, let's say, for instance, Mariota got hurt.
Okay.
Who's going in?
Felipe Franks. No, I'm just.
Hey, Steve, you might be right now.
Oh no! Stop that, man! Stop! You might.
But look, Steve. Let's take what you just said.
Okay.
If you feel that Ritter isn't ready,
right,
you would put Felipe Franks in there, wouldn't you? If you felt he wasn't ready, and
right.
plus the fact, this tissue paper turnstile line reared its ugly head at that Hail Mary yesterday because they got beat by three defensive linemen.
That's true.
And Jake Matthews, look, Jake Matthews, it was just like he wasn't there. And that's the reason that the play fell apart. Now, I didn't spot that until I went back and looked at it yesterday. But Jake Matthews just got brushed aside, and the man had a beeline toward Mariota.
True.
Okay? And everybody needs to take a look at that and watch that and see what happened. But like I say, and that was part of the conversation that we were having. Okay, do you subject your project quarterback to being thrown to the wolves like that? Do you subject your project quarterback to being thrown behind a bunch of turnstiles? You know, because see, now they look completely different than what they looked like last week against New Orleans. Because see, New Orleans, man, that's why I was out here just heaping accolades. Talking a whole bunch of stuff. Man, they look good. They look great. They look like they were coached up. They look like they look way better than what we had been seeing for the previous seasons and the previous weeks. But yesterday, they looked the same pedestrian sorry as they've been looking all along.
I disagree.
All right?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with you before you go on that. Would you agree that the Rams are probably one of the top 5 defensive lines in the game? Or I even put one more. Do you think they're one of the top front sevens in the game?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So what were one of the things I think everybody said coming into this game? Oh my goodness, Aaron Donald's gonna kill him.
Oh yeah,
Aaron Donald's gonna crawl in. They're gonna kill Mariota. Mariota's gonna get sacked 5 times. He's gonna get pressure. He ain't seen a team like this in a while. Oh, they mad. They got 10 games of rest. They're gonna do all that. Stop me when you hear a lie. All those things were being said about this game. And no, the running game didn't do what it did before. But I think we were playing, just to be honest with you, I expected us to do a little against New Orleans. I'm not lying. I don't think New Orleans is that team anymore, as they showed yesterday.
Right.
But the Rams are still the Rams. They might have played the best NFL team, the best team in the NFL last week. Do you mean to tell me you're going to sit here and go to the turnstile comment going against that defensive line? A defensive line that you didn't hear. I know you didn't hear us talk yesterday. You didn't hear Aaron Donald's name being called once.
He got handled. He was handled.
So I hear what you're saying about the last play. I'm sorry, I put you.
No. That's good.
I hear what you're saying about the last play, but I can't prescribe to that analysis as a whole for the game yesterday.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this, and I had to look this up right quick. Now, Los Angeles won the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
And they had the number 15 defense in the league last year.
Joe Burrow.
Now, hold on. No, Joe Burrow didn't have no offensive line now, Steve. Remember? They didn't have no offensive line.
Ryan Jensen was there last year.
Man, Joe Burrow had leaky oil.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow had leaky oil all last year.
Not Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. That offensive line was straight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Steve.
He got sacked 7 times yesterday.
Yeah. Now that offensive line that Joe Burrow was behind was horrible, and I was just shocked that they made it to the Super Bowl with such horrific an offensive line. But the New Orleans Saints were number 4 in defense last year, so we played a better team week 1 defensively than we played this week. See, the thing is, everybody's been talking about Aaron Donald. That's the only thing you hear on the Rams defensive line. I don't even know who the other jokers are over there. Is it the Nephilim playing with him over there? Is it the Antichrist playing on that side of the line with him? But that's all that's all you hear, Steve, is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's the best defensive lineman.
A little bit too now. Ramsey out there.
Yeah. Okay, you mentioned them. But see, Aaron Donald is all you hear.
Did you hear Aaron Donald's name yesterday?
Because you didn't hear him at all. Because we didn't hear him. We didn't hear him.
All right, that's what I want to hear.
You because
these hostile folks, Alberto, you got to treat them. You
got
to treat them with Brillo pan because they don't get what you're saying. So
look, I noticed the dearth of Aaron Donald's name being called yesterday, just like all 330 million citizens in the United States. Yeah. But that also makes my point, because that's the only name they always call from the Rams on the defensive line.
Just said that they destroyed our offensive line. You went to the turnstile comment a few minutes ago.
Yes, a whole bunch of other no-name players had our offensive line. Tore our offensive line up.
How many times did Mariota get sacked yesterday?
He got sacked 3 times.
I think he got sacked 3 times yesterday.
He got sacked 3 times.
He got sacked 3 times yesterday.
And it was more a testament to what Raheem Morris was doing. He was sending blitzes from everywhere. Not all of it came from. Yep, not all of it came from the defensive line. Bobby Wagner got a sack. I think a defensive back got a sack. But in true essence, our offensive line held up against a great Aaron Donald, a very good player in Gaines, and not to mention, the other guy that they have there, Ashawn Robinson. We pretty much held them in check. It's just that they had better run fits as far as calling their defensive plans. Raheem Morris, knowing what the Falcons do, being the coached here before and stuff like that, seeing what pedigree we got as far as players. So that Aaron Donald name was not heard yesterday. So I think the Falcons did a good job planning for Aaron Donald and making them other folks or those other players, be the key contributors to the outcome of the game.
And that builds equity to me. I think as the season goes on and they start realizing the teams that they're playing against, that people coming into the year were saying, man, they ain't going to do this against New Orleans. Man, they're not going to do this against the Rams. And in both situations, you are one play from when you worked at, yes, good, bad, roller coaster, whatever. At the
Roller coaster.
As the NFL team, at the end of the day, you want to say we were one play away from winning the game. And I think that's, let me run through a couple of comments real quick, y'all, before we go on. Wallace says, no, Felipe, I was just joking. But for everybody who's coming, I am not drinking. I just said, Felipe, that was a joke. So please.
Well, hey.
Seriously.
Hey.
Wallace did mention your point, John, about, I saw that too with the offensive line did not hold up the 3-man rush. I think on that particular play, we'll get back to it in a second. On that particular play, I wish he would have let that ball go the first time before he tried to spin around the second time. I think he was just trying to get a clear way to throw it up high. But if he had let that ball go just a little bit, listen, that was a reason we got 6'3" and above receivers this year, so they can jump up and get that.
That's what I thought.
Hold on 1 second. Let me slip through. Hello, everybody. I think that's Brother Sheehan. What's going on, man? D says, I will say we put on a great and better show when we played the Rams, better than the game we played against the Chiefs when they won that Super Bowl. We did put on, I do remember we did do good in that. Brother Ryan is in the house. Ryan, the historian. Ryan, who is also on the Atlanta Bird Game on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Him and the fellas, Brother Killian was up there a little earlier, and Glenn Smalls, and this character right here in the center of y'all picture. John is usually in the picture with those guys on Thursday. He says, I'm enjoying the show while cooking Salisbury steak, gravy, and mashed potatoes from scratch.
Man, quit torturing people. Quit torturing folks, man.
Double A, what have we said about mentioning food?
Man, you can't do that. That's a no, man. That's a no.
You can't do that, Ryan, unless you got something for everybody.
He doing it on purpose. He doing it on purpose.
He is, man. That's the type of stuff that make you run to the kitchen and end of life. You know what I mean?
He ain't talking to 3 punters. He talking to 3 heavyweights over here.
I'm ready to eat 2 plates right now.
Hey, come on, bruh.
Oh, man. Facebook user says that Tony, Wagner sacked him once. Yeah, we saw that one play where he just, I don't know whether that was a stunt or whether he just.
No, that was a green dog blitz. That was just him going. That was his only mission. Get right to the quarterback, and it was unguarded.
That looked just as good. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me as clean as Troy Anderson did look going through that punt. Look, let me tell you something too. We get ready to go through this other stuff too. Real quick, Jay, what did you think about that special teams play? Again, they haven't blocked a punt since back when you had that Jerry curl in your hair back in 1990.
Damn.
Going back. So tell us what you thought and what memories that brought back when you saw. You know who they said scored the last one? I think they said Bobby Butler.
Yeah. Bobby Butler.
Florida State.
And the announcer, when he said it, he was talking like he knew who Bobby Butler was. Man, you don't know who Bobby Butler is. Just shut up. It was back when Bobby Butler did it. You remember? Shut up. You don't know about Bobby Butler. But yes, man, look. It was just like what we're experiencing now. A bright spot with a team that, really didn't have a lot of bright spots to go on. It was something that happened. And see, as far as the Jerry curl was concerned, I think that was right when the California curl came out, and you didn't have to have all that stuff in your head, and you didn't wet up your pillow, And I went through them all now.
Man, I'm getting a history lesson on this, man.
Don't let him fool you. If memory serves me right, I was in the back of line with you at Eckerd Drugs getting that S curl that used to have in the
No. Hey.
They used to call him Full Force Harris.
Oh man. Oh
Hey,
man.
Steve, we used to get it from Bronner Brothers on the corner of Butler and Auburn at my dad's barbershop down there. And see, hey, what you used to do, you used to come in around about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and get a blowout or a pullout. But around about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you had to get a recharge because all you had got back on your head.
Damn.
And you can't even pick it up.
Hey, them Jerry curls were in high demand. In high
Hey,
demand.
man, you couldn't get no girlfriend without no Jerry curl. Now you didn't have that
No,
natural
sir.
curl. Yeah, no, you couldn't do that. You had to have that drip. They talk about drip now. We knew what the real drip was.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Jerry curls notwithstanding. Let's go. Let's keep rolling. Antonio was in the house. Said these red zone flags have got to stop. Yeah, we can't keep getting those.
Whoa, wait a minute. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop y'all right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you see the video I put up yesterday?
No.
Okay. Now, I put up a video yesterday about a call that was made right after we blocked the punt. I think we're going to have to put it back up. They called us for having 2 men moving at the same time. And that was that was a lie. That was a lie. I put that video
that's
up.
right. That pushed us back.
Yeah, now I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Illegal motion or illegal shift, something like that. They had called.
Yeah, they said it was an illegal shift. And it was only 1 man moving. And the thing was, there was they had a female referee out there that came over there and told the head linesman what it was that she saw.
Okay. This disclaimer is to say the words coming out of her mouth are from John Harris only.
And now I'm
only attributed to him, the anarchist here on this.
That's right. That's right.
Make sure that that's out there. So.
Yeah, get that out there. But my problem is that cost us 10 yards, the 5 yards that we got and the 5 yards that we were marched back because of the penalty. That did not happen. Yeah. Now, the NFL, I don't care who you hire. I don't care who you hire. I don't care who you have out there. Your job is to get it right. Because, see, hey, Steve, could you even challenge that?
Yeah, you can't challenge.
You can't even challenge that.
Only penalty you can challenge are time penalties and it's something else.
But you can't challenge a call. You can't challenge a call. It's kind of like baseball.
You can challenge a time call. I think they can. What is it?
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
Somebody help me. It's there's one call that you can challenge it with the penalty.
You can challenge the spot. You can challenge the spot.
I think you can challenge. Yeah, you can challenge the spot. That's not a penalty though. That it's only one penalty, and I think it's delay of game that you can actually challenge. I think it is. I could be wrong, but I think that's the only one that you can.
But everybody needs to go back and take a look at that and see when you are a struggling team, when you are a fledgling team, when you're trying to win on the road in a hostile of environments, you cannot afford to have stuff like that done to you. I don't care whether you respect us or not. You can't afford to have no crap like that going on.
NFL has no sympathy for the loser. If you come into the game 0-1, listen. This is why New England gets the calls. This is why right now Kansas City gets the calls.
Yeah.
Trust me, until you build equity as a team.
As a team, yep.
As a team, as an organization, until you build equity, folks, I'm telling you, the referees are not going to listen to you. Let me keep going through the comments real quick before y'all start. Falcons 8607 joining us on Facebook. How you doing? Say, hey, Pops and Uncle Steve. Now, I know they ain't talking about Double A because he don't look like Pops. So they got to be talking about that old hermit in the middle of the screen. So, brother, you just messing up my whole thing. Now we got senior citizens up here listening to us and everything, which is great. But at the same time, Alberto, we are fine with that because you bring in the knowledgeable audience yourself. I bring in a vast array of folks, and then Jay brings in the Geritol-ish type,
the real drinkers. We bring in the real drinkers. The people who have to suffer and who done suffered through this. We bringing in the people. We bringing in. Come on in, people.
Oh shit!
My brother Sheehan is sending the comments going on. Sheehan say, so y'all are going to tell me that y'all haven't noticed after the first half of the Saints game that teams are actively using the mush rush against Mariota to keep him in the pocket. Am I the only one that sees this? The line isn't playing well. More so, every defense is clearly trying to keep Mariota in the pocket where he is the least effective. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I have seen a couple of mush rushes that New Orleans got, but at the same time, it really wasn't that effective against New Orleans. I mean, they didn't sack him. Nope. And yeah, I understand what the game plan is, but listen, 3 sacks against the Rams, I'll take it. I'm not mad at that, to be honest with you. I'm not really that discouraged. And you tell me, and then let's keep it real. 3 sacks against the Rams, and you were still able to stay upright and get down to the last play to try to win the game. I can live with that. Brother Armani is in the house. Alabama said, "What's going on, folks? I've seen enough of Marcus Mariota." Killian says, "Cook it up, Ryan. I see my boy, but you know the rules. Yeah, talk about that food. Leave that alone." David Starks is in the house. Says, "Let's talk about these killer penalties in the red zone. We just did, my brother. What's going on?" Facebook says Mariota mobility has kind of neutralized the pass rush on our sorry offensive line because Mariota is most dangerous on the run to pass or run. And this is something that you were talking about, Alberto, before the season started. Having Marcus go in there and take the first hits, and I mean first hits, first games or whatever. And so we have a prototypical, which we hope is a better version of Mariota, waiting on the bench in Ritter.
Absolutely.
I think, and tell me what you think real quick about Marcus's ability. Yeah, his throwing ability has been suspect, but his ability to run and extend plays more than we had in the past.
Yeah, no, that's the key contributor to all of this. You know, that's the Arthur Smith offense is tailor-made for a guy like Ritter, a guy like Mariota, because it's a very active pocket, a lot of naked bootlegs, rollouts, play actions, and things like that. It's set up to, for success for those type of mobile quarterbacks. So that by itself makes the offensive line look golden. The O-line hasn't played bad at all. I think they've held up pretty much. So I think it's just the offensive line. The offensive play calls that attributes to that type of success. So,
and you can't run for 2,000.
No,
you can't run for 200 yards in a game. No, you can't. If your offensive line is successful. I'm going to talk about the antithesis of that with John Harris. John Harris gave me this on Christmas back in 2012 after his favorite quarterback won the game, got us to the championship game. He got this for me, y'all. So we're going to talk to him in a little bit about the difference between his hero and Marcus Mariota. We'll be back in a second. False Start says we blocked the punt in the preseason. It's good to see Mariota. It is awesome to see the special teams still doing their thing. D also says if we can just clear up the miscues, we'll be looking good and go 2-2. Ryan says you jokers ruined many of the pillows. He's talking about John's Jerry curls. Prayers before we are lovers. Full force. Voice. Let's get that out, y'all. Jerry curl version. Real quick. Favorite full force song?
Shit, you got me.
He's a baby. What's your favorite full force song, John?
I was listening to jazz. I didn't. It was either James Brown or jazz, Jack.
What was the little song they had with Lisa? I wonder if I take you home. Wasn't that with full force?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Yeah.
I would sing the rest of the verse, but I don't want to drive people off.
Man, look, I'm glad I'm not wearing glasses.
Our team will be competitive and we'll win some great games. Just give us about week 5 to see where we are. The D-line and O-line playing better than previous years to give them a little time to get it together. And John, speak on this a little bit because we've talked, you and I have had numerous conversation about the trenches. And the first 2 games, again, we're not talking about perfection, but to a man, tell me, have you been at least a little impressed by what you've seen from both sides of the line?
Now, I told you, well, I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Steve, but last week I was very impressed about the offensive line. And I mentioned the fact that they moved McGarry and Lindstrom from one side of the line, from the right side of the line over to the left side of the line and created an unbalanced line, and I mean, now I didn't see any of that yesterday. Now I'm going to have to take a look and see if I saw that, but the way that they were moving the line around and the way that they were blocking, it was so impressive to me that I was just praising and lauding them for what it was that they were doing. The defensive line last week, man, when we were attacking, when we had everybody up on the line and they didn't know where the pitch was coming from the first 3 quarters, I said, man, this is beautiful. It was just beautiful, and I wish that we could have kept it up. Now,
contrary to belief, he tries to say he didn't switch things up and whatever, but
right.
But you could see it
through these thick eyes. It did not take a genius to figure out something changed.
You did something.
He did. It might not have been a zone, but whatever they called up, it was so different from what was going on those first three quarters in New Orleans. Double A, when we talk about the line, I did notice. You remember when they kept bringing the little number 18 back there in the back? And, and I noticed that. And they also had an extra tight end a couple of times. Was that a respect level from Sean McVay to say, I just saw what they did against New Orleans?
Absolutely.
Let me try to protect these guys. And I think that was absolutely the plan to stop that defensive line. What do you think?
I think I agree. And, a good team like the Rams are, they're going to make those, what we've talked about, those in-game adjustments, like we call them. So he saw that adjustment and made it from a mile away. Atlanta, the way they played week 1, to the gentleman below me, what he was making, it was beautiful. It was like poetry in fucking motion. We were getting to the quarterback and credit Dean Pease for what he did. So, of course, that blueprint is out. It was out right there. So the Rams doing what they did, extra blockers to chip here and there, that's just an ode to respect to what the Falcons created week 1. We walked out of it with 4 sacks. I mean, when's the last time we walked out of any game with 4 sacks in recent memory? So them boys were playing week 1. And let me add a little tidbit, Uncle Steve. The fourth quarter defense that was on display yesterday was the same style. Same style defense that we ran the first 3 quarters.
Yes, sir.
Versus the Saints.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. What pissed me off, because I went back and I watched the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys picked up on it. Jalen Hawkins didn't start the game. Eric Harris did.
That's right.
Eric Harris did. And that personnel was hot garbage, because you telling me that Eric Harris has a build to be a linebacker in that dime situation? Hell no. That's where the Rams were killing us, because instinctually, Eric Harris is not that guy. And a lot of the big plays were on his side of the field, long gains at that.
He, if you watched the presser yesterday, someone asked him about that. And Arthur Smith's response was, well, we mix in people. Here's my thing. maybe there was some in-house stuff that might have kept him on the sidelines in that position. But that was asked at the presser yesterday after the game when he said, and then I only gonna correct you on one thing in your whole diatribe, bro. Don't ever come on this stream calling that guy below you a gentleman, because the last thing look, I'll say there's a level of respect, and then there's just being ridiculous. Don't ever look.
Oh,
he didn't tell you long time ago. He used to have a little 10-inch screen behind him. A little 10-inch TV behind him, and if you say, don't be showing us your upgrade, don't show, if Tiny's in here, Tiny will tell you about the 10-inch.
Oh shit, man.
Above him. Don't show us now. We embarrassed him enough to get a 2018 TV. That's what happened. But,
look here, man. Look here. Senior citizens are on fixed income around here. We can't be going and splurging and buying all this high-tech equipment.
Let them know. Let them know.
Man. I thought Rodney Dangerfield had retired. I ain't getting no respect.
No respect around here.
What the heck going on there?
Ryan is in the house. Ryan said the lady referee was thick as 3-day-old grits. Let's Lord. Well, first, Ryan.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Ryan.
Made by
Ryan. We're going to talk about that Thursday. We're going to talk about it Thursday.
As a very happily married man, I let you know that I did not know what the lady looked like, and I'm not trying to notice what the lady looked like.
The NFL can pick them. The NFL can
believe you when you say that.
I myself, I'm with you on that one.
She ain't got to worry about nobody running up on her.
It ain't me.
It ain't. No.
Wallace said they had a bad call on Terrell for chop ball. That's
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's the way he
tackles. That's right. That's right. That's right. That was a bad call. And see, the thing was, look, how you gonna tackle a man? How in the world, if you was going low, how else are you gonna tackle the man?
Right. Absolutely.
Come on,
protect
man.
Himself too.
And listen, I'm gonna, the referees are human, and I think in the split second when it almost looked like a defensive chop block, if you look at it real close, but it was not. And maybe he saw the defensive guy on the ground and maybe thought he saw AJ kind of undercut. That was a horrible call. Even the guy on the himself, Mark Sanchez, even said the same thing, that wasn't a very
now let me say something about this. Does the NFL have full-time officials?
I think so.
I think they are now. I know that was a big deal.
It was at one point.
I think that was I'm not sure. Remember when they went through the strike situation?
Replacement refs.
The last game before the strike was the Seattle Green Bay, where the guy clearly got the interception and they called it a touchdown.
I love that call.
That play changed, and I think they became full time. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong for that.
See, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. And the thing about it is, there have been so many egregious calls because of the fact that these people are lawyers. They are go into other types of businesses, things of that sort. And they don't do this, and they do not study, and they do not see situations and scenarios the way that the NBA officials do.
Yeah,
okay,
that's true. Good point.
And you guys, and I mean, look, Steve, when the tickets were $35 to get in or free, you could get away with this, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Right,
man. We are paying players, owners, cities, communities, and people are paying too much money for people to be messing up like this.
True.
There's too much money involved for y'all to be messing up like this, man. Because people are getting fired. People getting fired. Careers ending. All kind of crazy stuff because of something that you did out there. Just like Jerry Glanville said, NFL is not for long. You know.
Killian is in the house here. The blood pressure medicine boys. John,
Hey, man. And yesterday, man. Woo.
Brian Peoples is in the house. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you popping in. Brother Ron Thomas is in the house. How you doing, Ron? Antonio said this team is coming, especially with the cap year for next year. David says what's good is the ability to extend plays when you're inaccurate. That's true. The throw where London came back to him was wide open. He airmailed it. I noticed Drake started to do that. That's a very good.
That's a good point. Yes,
good
sir.
Point right there. David says, "Love is a house. Love is a house is actually force MDs. That's not full force. Got the right force, but not full force. Full force was might be
that was a copyright
time, Dave. I think you're a little younger than we are. Yeah, Love is a House was Tender Love guys, Force MDs. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did those guys. Sean said, "What's up?" Facebook users say, "I mess with y'all all the way." I feel you, brother. Antonio says, "To me, this D line looks so much better when Abdullah Anderson was in the game." And Abdullah,
he
got his opportunity, and he took
and we cut him, and we had cut the man.
We signed him today. We signed him today to the 53 round.
Oh, they did sign him to the 53?
Yes.
But we signed him back. Listen, hold on. Before you criticize, they said the moment they did that 53-man roster, it's going to be a fluid situation. He literally said that the first presser after. They got rid of Fursker, they brought back Fursker. They got rid of Abdullah, they brought back Abdullah. They put Tyler inactive, now they brought him back on the team. Folks, I got a feeling it's going to be some of that all throughout the season. Just get ready. When you have a team, you're trying to find right pieces. And I think Abdullah showed yesterday, especially in the run game.
Man, he was very active.
The push he was getting. I think you mentioned that yesterday, Double A.
I did,
about the push he got. Tell us what you saw with that.
Just tremendous push. You know, that's a true nose tackle we're talking about there. And much rather have his experience on the field, being a journeyman in the NFL than the likes of Timothy Horn that we have as a backup. You know, him and Taquan Graham yesterday were just blowing up the backfield. Those are two guys that, just were making plays and it was freeing up other things to go on. But yeah, Abdullah Anderson, man, love it, man. Love
My
it.
brother Sheehan is in the house. Please thank my bad, John. I'm gonna come to you 1 second. If there's one thing I like to do, especially when folks take the time to press the keyboards, I try my best to read as many comments as I can because I always appreciate you folks talking to us if they can. Please, thank you for watching my stream, Stephen. Me and the wife are like that during the game at the stadium or at home. We do it every time. This is my brother Sheehan. Sheehan is usually in the streams, John. I know you see him a lot of times when we're in the Bird game. He and his wife have a YouTube page called The Dixon Way, Dixon. Extremely entertaining. It's like a live reaction video where they're watching the game and you get a chance to interact with them and go through the game. Please check it out. I thought he was holding out on me. I said, man, I didn't know you were doing this. But I want to give him a shout out because he's always very supportive on my stream. So I appreciate you doing that, brother. Right back at you. Dixon Way on YouTube. Y'all may go give us a subscribe for him. Sean says Terrell got pushed during that tackle. Brother Rusty says, forget the refs, is Dean Pease a full-time DC. You leave old man River alone, Rusty. Listen, look, these coaches, we were on earlier with Tidy, and Tidy has a fantastic stream he usually does on Monday where we give individual grades to folks. And he broke down coaching. There have been moments during this season that you scratch your head. And there are also moments where you say, okay, I can see where you're going in that direction. And Dean Pease has had his moments. Fourth quarter, New Orleans. Arthur Smith has had his moments. And yeah, I know they say Dave Ragone is the offense coordinator, but Arthur Smith calling them plays. I don't care what you say.
Yes.
And Arthur Smith, 4th and 1 decisions, stuff like that. John, overall, how would you evaluate the coaching so far? Both sides, just overall, not just individual. Overall coaching so far.
They making gasoline out of goat's milk. They are. They are. I mean, look, man. You know what this team reminds me of? The beginning of old Battlestar Galactica, where they done destroyed the planet and they got all kinds of old raggedy spaceships and people and folk here and folk there. And this big Battlestar is dragging all of these misfits across the galaxy to some home because nobody, you just went and shopped in the lowest of stores just to be able to put a team together. It's just like the movie Major League, man. We are Major League 2022. They pieced us together. And week 1, when I saw the coaching job, and I mean the results of all of the preseason, the results of the coaching job, the results of the change of attitude, the results of the scheme and all of that, and the way that we look week 1, I said, man, this man could be coach of the doggone year. Just by the way that this was put together and the way that it functioned in week 1. And week 2, I can't, I complain about a couple of little things, but I still have that same faith that we can make something out of this season with the pieces that we got, the misfit puzzle pieces that we have. Now, as far as play calling, bad execution makes play calling look bad. Why did you call this? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? But if you get a bird's eye view or a macro view of everything that's supposed to have worked, or you sit down with that coach and coach, why did you call this? Or why didn't this work? Well, this man did not cover that man there. That's his man. Well, he's on the other side of the field. No, he's designed to go this way. When they explain it, they show you how this was supposed to work. And a couple of people, sometimes just one person, not completing their assignment makes the whole thing just fall apart.
That's true.
And that's where what really goes back to. I think the coaching is taking a different identity than it has in the past. I just think I see aggressiveness. I see even if the play may not work on a couple of occasions, I almost see, maybe I see where you were going. What's your evaluation so far of that double A?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go extensively on one thing. I think that Coach Smith can do much better if he's left alone just to coach the team, not call the plays himself like he is doing this year. And I say that to say this: Dave Ragone is not his guy.
Yeah,
Dave Ragone is not his guy.
Okay.
I think that was more of a forced pairing than anything else because Ryan Pace, as we all know, was the GM with the Bears, and Dave Ragone was a cast-off of the Bears.
Right.
So let me bring this guy in just to see if he can help you mend some fences over here on this offensive side. And I don't think that's a good recipe there. If Arthur Smith brings his own type of style guy, a true West Coast style offensive coordinator, I think we could see the best, we could see better things coming ahead. As far as the whole coaching, as in perspective, it's been up and down. I mean, you show brilliance in the first week, and then, you show a dud for the first 3 quarters. It's like we can't continue to have this up and down coaching style. Everybody's got to be on the same, playing field, and everybody's got to, have the best play calls available, because these two games here can determine if we do make it in the playoffs. It can come back and bite us in the ass at the end of the year. So, overall, better coaching decisions would have to be made. So I would definitely say it's just been a roller coaster event thus far.
And it's funny. I always use the roller coaster, the ebbs and flows of the game. Where you in needs to be on time. Listen, the ebbs and flows of Baltimore, Miami, the ebbs and flows of Cincinnati, Dallas. Dallas could have blown that, came back to win. The ebbs and flows, and was one more. Was the other come? Oh, Arizona and Vegas yesterday. So what those teams did were horrible moments, good moments, but at the end, knowing when to, clamp down. Arizona was down 20-0. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been early fourth quarter, late third quarter. Yep. But for them to come back and close the deal, and we almost made it 4 teams that did that. So maybe as coaching as it goes on, we'll get a little better in that right there. Sean McVay says in his presser after the game that the Falcons are a very physical team, and I agree. Yesterday,
thank God.
He did. And again, that's Super Bowl champion saying that. Norman says Drake London is him. Listen, Drake London, I guarantee you when we come back to Atlanta that he will have his own theme music. Yeah, they used to play a song every time Julio would catch the ball. Some little C-list rapper made a song about him. So every time he caught the ball, they played it when he went out of bounds. Guarantee you they're going to try to get licensing for Drake to be able to play his songs when Drake London is making those plays, brother, because he made some nice catches yesterday.
Physical contested catches. I'm happy for Drake London. And I'll say this. We took him 8. There were some folks that wanted Garrett Wilson to be here with the Falcons, and the naysayers like, oh, Drake London doesn't have top line speed. Drake London can't make the contested catches or whatever it was in the blogs and whatnot. Man, he's showing everything and then some. He is as advertised in my eyes, man. The kid has speed, can create separation. He's showing great hands so far, and very physical at the point of attack. So I mean, we got a good one. We definitely got a good one.
A win away from getting some exposure as a rookie of the year, possibly.
Heck yeah, why not?
Get a win or two. Maybe we can do that. False Start says Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah.
That's old reference right there, man.
John, you remember that place on Fairburn that he used to have?
Oh yeah, I remember his restaurant.
He had the restaurant over there.
I got a chance to meet him, and yeah, his head is scratched up right in here. He used to cut himself.
Yeah,
but a lot of you don't remember, and I know what Albert. So I don't know if you're a wrestling fan.
I met him. I met him at a convention. Okay. I met him at a convention, man.
Well,
like you mentioned, oh man, forehead looked like ground beef, man.
Dude, and he's the nicest dude.
Very.
When we met him, I met him at the restaurant when I was like early teens or whatever. Real cool. Took signed autographs with us and stuff like that. Real cool dude. Sean said they put Huntley on the 53 too. That kind of scares me right there that they put Huntley, that they brought Huntley up, because maybe that means Damian might be out a little longer than we think.
He went on IR.
Yeah, is that a 4 game?
I think it's 4 games.
Okay, so
in that 6 games.
I think it's either 4 or 8, and if it's a 4 game,
yeah,
okay.
But they signed Huntley to the roster. That means it's a possibility for him to get cut. See, they can't put him back on the. Because they'll lose him now. Now that he's on the roster, I mean, they'll have to cut him, and everybody else to get an opportunity.
Yeah,
to get him first. And then if they don't get him, then they'll bring him back on there and stuff. I'm trying to get back down into here. Wallace, Wallace says Ragon was the quarterback coach with the Titans when Smith was with. Oh, see, okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. No.
They did have a little bit of connection.
Wallace always got knowledge, man.
Okay, I raised my hand as a Drake London doubter. That kid looked explosive and big as a target.
Right.
This is Shin is Pitts the new decoy like Julio was to draw the defensive scheme in one-on-one matches up with London. Okay,
that's what it looks like.
We're gonna talk two controversial things and then we're gonna jump off. And I see Smitty came back from going out and watering the garden. And good the flowers. So I appreciate that, brother. I hope the soil is still in a good place for growth going into 2023. So,
what's up, Smitty?
What's up, man?
All right. So, question for the panel. Kyle Pitts. I make no.
Smitty's ears are going like this. They're wiggling right now. Smitty's like this. Just give it to me, man. Just give me that damn topic.
I have made no secret since the draft of 2021 that I thought it was a mistake to get Kyle Pitts so high. Not because I don't like the young man. Not because I don't think he has the potential to do great things. But I also think in the top 5 of your draft, you get someone who's going to contribute and produce now. That's what you have to do. Or get a franchise quarterback that is setting up your future. We did not do that. And a year and a half, 19 games in, now everyone's saying, oh, where's the great Kyle Pitts? Oh, where's the guy? And I don't want to hear about scheme. I don't want to hear about all of that. He had 1,000 yards last year. I'm starting to question the decision to draft him on this team. Again, before anybody types, I'm not saying I don't like the kid. I'm not saying he doesn't have ability. But 2 games in, I'm telling y'all, it's not working. Smitty, you got the floor.
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot like that.
I give you a chance to get some of them soil out there.
Oh, yeah. I got to clean that soil. I got to throw Marcus Mariota down in the dirt so he'll grow a little bit.
Ain't no fertilizer available, brother.
Hey, had a dog walk through.
Oh, yeah, I got a dog right next door. He's going to come over in a minute. But yeah, Kyle Pitts. I love to pick at the time, and I still love to pick, and I still think he has time to show what he can do. But like I told you last night on my show, I think what the problem is, he needs to find that dog in his soul that's just going to come out, make him aggressive, and make him work harder. And I think that's the problem, because if you get the right release off the line and run the right route, I think you'll find a way to get open. And I just think he needs to put forth more effort to get open, and that's just the problem. And Mariota, too, I think he needs to find a way to get him the football, move him around, just like they did Julio. Mm-hmm. Line him up in the slot, line him up outside. Hell, line him up in the backfield, throw a swing pass to him. Do something to get him the football. Right. But I agree with you to a certain extent, because as I look at Michael Parsons, and I can picture him on this defense.
AK on one side, Parsons on the other side.
But Parsons is a middle linebacker, though.
Right. But they line him up everywhere, brother.
Everywhere.
Yeah, they line him up everywhere. So my point is, if you have AK with his hand in the dirt on one side, you could also put Parsons, like Dallas used him in every spot. If you see what Dan Quinn, I said it, Dan Quinn. If y'all see what Dan Quinn is doing with him, man, with that Dallas team, he looks again like the defensive guru.
And I give you another one. Patrick Surtain the second.
Patrick Surtain. Another one. We wouldn't have had to spend money on
Casey Hayward.
On Casey Hayward. We would have him.
So I agree with you to a certain extent, but I still think he has time to become that ultimate weapon we know he can be. It's just is he willing to work that hard to become that all-pro type player. But that's something that we will see soon enough. And I think if Ritter gets in probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think that's where the tables turn for the wide receivers and the tight ends. Even Parker Hess.
Oh man,
man.
man, oh man, he ain't wrong.
Look at that. He lost his signal. He lost his signal saying something like that.
Oh man,
Smitty, you lost your signal saying some mess like that.
Oh shit!
The internet couldn't even hold that.
John, real quick. Any regrets about taking Pitts at the number 4 position? And again, before you answer, and maybe I should have prefaced that. I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential. The young man, he got a long way to go.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not ignoring the 1,000 yards he got last year from John's favorite quarterback last year. I'm not forgetting. I'm not forgetting.
Oh, I think that interception's still going, but I think the reason why I think Michael Parsons would have been the best pick, because I think that would have been a start to making the defense the identity of this team.
That's true.
And that would have been, a perfect stepping stone.
That's true. So, John, what's your opinion? Any regrets or give him time?
Well, you're gonna have to give him time. I mean, that's there is no choice in that. There's no choice in that because see, like I was telling you, Marcus Mariota was on the bench.
Hold on. Before you even go any further, listen, y'all got to realize me. I have the right to treat the witness hostile. So look,
I already got barked at that.
Whoa, wait a minute. Is there jail time involved? Now, if it's jail time involved, I need a lawyer.
You were with me last year.
Yes.
We were talking at the draft.
Yes.
And I think you were with me. Now, don't get soft on me now. Don't get charming on me. We drafted Kyle Pitts at the number 4 position, the highest a tight end has ever been drafted in the NFL draft. Now, again, as we were sitting there watching the quarterbacks go and watching the quarterbacks fall and saying to ourselves, well, we're getting ready to get our next franchise quarterback, and we could be 1 year into that right now. Mm-hmm. We drafted Kyle Pitts. If I'm going to get a tight end / wide receiver / running back at the number 4 position, he has to be generational. He has to be productive. Kyle Pitts, yes, it's 1,000 yards, but it's 17 games now, y'all. So that don't average out to a whole lot. I have to have somebody that is a difference maker every down. John, straight answer. Was this the right pick?
No. And the reason why I'm saying this, when you have the number 4 pick and you need a quarterback and you need a successor, go get it. If you got a number 4 pick. Otherwise, you have to do like San Francisco did to get in front of us. Give away pick or trade picks in order to get them. Now, there is no doubt with all of what I'm seeing about Kyle Pitts, he may end up being the unicorn. All right, fine. But don't you have to have a quarterback to get him the ball in order for him to be that unicorn? You got to have that. And right now, you got Rudy Poop throwing to him. That man can't even look. That man can't throw up if he had a stomachache.
I want y'all to mark this down. It is September 19th and it's 7:48. John Harris made an intelligent argument about the Atlanta Falcons. He made a very convincing and compelling thought. And if I was standing up, I'd give you a standing ovation. Good job. That you said something very important there when you talked about what Frisco did. Even with Jimmy G in place last year, they said, I gotta look for the future. So they didn't have a problem jumping us to get their future. Now, of course, nobody could envision what happened to him yesterday and getting hurt, but they had the guts to go look out for the future. Here in Atlanta, we were scared to upset John's favorite football player.
Oh, Lord.
No. Now, see, that's
they were scared to ruffle Matt's feathers and draft somebody and thought it would get kind of funky. Now, what's the difference between bringing in a young gun that can at least, watch a vet?
No. Don't watch him. Don't watch Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan for what?
Don't get me wrong. At the end of last year, you could have put him in. Talk to me, Smith.
Augustine.
Talk to me, Smith.
When you getting up in age and you can't swing the ball like you used to, and your arm turned into a chicken tender, how can you get mad? How can you get mad? I mean, your time coming. And what we seen yesterday, and I said on the show last night, they went Easter egg hunting, after Easter, putting that goose egg up on the board. So he can't, he has no reason to get mad.
Are you talking about my franchise quarterback? Are you talking about my 14-year vet who had bled in sweat, tears for this franchise? Are you saying that he had an abnormal game yesterday, Smitty?
No.
Here we go again, man. Hey.
Oh shit, man.
I'm not gonna even talk about that guy again today.
Hey, man. Fellas, I'm gonna say this. Last year the Falcons could have really ran the table with that fourth pick. Of course, everybody hyped up, Kyle Pitts to what he is, and he is a great player. Let's not go on Front Street here. He is going to be a great one. Right. But at 4, there was one player, and Smitty, if Smitty remembers correctly, I was banging on the table for us to trade down, and take Rashawn Slater. That was my guy.
Yep.
I think that guy.
Slater would have been a
great pick.
Another way that they could have ran the table. You saw what the 49ers got for that third pick. You just one pick down.
Shit.
Even no matter how far you move back, no matter how far, you're going to get at least 2 first-round picks.
There you go.
Maybe a second and a third.
There you go.
So you could have gotten still a top cornerback in the draft. Like Alberto said, you could have got one of the top offensive linemen. You could have got top defensive end, anything. But that would have set us up this year.
Yep.
And then we would be talking about this team in a better fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, because the plan all along was to not get a quarterback, to your point, Smitty. If the plan all along was to not get a quarterback, fall back, grab your 2, Parsons would have still been there.
Augustine, I said I got it on paper. Right. I mean on video. I said if they move back, it will probably change this franchise for the next 10 years. Because you get 2 first-round picks. You have both of those players for 5 years.
5 years. There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You can't drop the ball. And like I said, it was just Dimitrov beforehand that just really tore this team inside out. And you spoke on it yesterday by handing out those contracts to those in-the-moment players.
Right.
Not knowing that they could not fit any scheme. That's the only time you sign a player to a major deal if they can fit any scheme that comes their way and adjust to any head coach. Right. And if they can't do that, it ain't no reason to give them a whole lot of money. Bill Belichick, he lives off of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I applaud him.
And see now, this is another point about Kyle Pitts that I made after we picked him. I asked the question, how do you pay first-round draft picks? Well, you slot them by position and you slot them by draft position also. Do you know Kyle Pitts is only making $2 million less than Trey Lance out there in San Francisco?
$32 million over 5 years.
$32 million for a tight end and not a franchise type quarterback. Now, it's going to be broken down, into little tidbits over the years. Now, you look at the total amount that you're paying them, and then you look at the yearly amount that you're paying them. And the thing is that if you draft somebody and you sign somebody in the first round, you got to be able to pay them anyway. You got to pay them. You got to be able to pay them anyway. So why did you get a player that does not affect the future of your team the way that a quarterback does, right, and pay him all, quote unquote, all of that money? Now you could have.
Hold on 1 second, because your point is very poignant, and I want to bring up these comments because it's going to circle back to what you say. I'm gonna let you finish. Let me get back up here. Shin says, Steve, I know I was against drafting the tight end at number 4 because the tight end can't affect the game. So this is your point, John. That's why I was bringing this up. Because the tight end can't affect the game like the following positions: cornerback, pass rush, defensive end, linebackers, offensive line, all foundational type positions. A tight end will be a luxury pick, not a foundation pick. And what he means by luxury pick, if I'm speaking for you a little bit, Shin, is saying if I'm a current playoff team and for some weird reason I ended up getting the top 5 pick, and I know tight end was a position. Say if I was the Rams and I just won the Super Bowl, and I made a deal 2 years ago where I got the Jets 3rd round pick. That's the only time that I would go up and get a generational type tight end, because I have everything else in place, but I'm getting that special player. So I wanted to just interject that in real quick, John. Go ahead and finish, just to show you that's exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Because see, that's what I'm saying. A tight end is a finishing piece. Right. Somebody that high is a finishing piece. Right. Okay. You don't, I mean, and by no means am I saying that Kyle Pitts isn't as advertised. But even as advertised, that's not what you spend pick number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on. Because those first 5,
not a tight end. Listen,
no, tight end. No, tight end is a mid-round pick, like the 15 range.
Yeah. You do that down there around about the 15 range. And see, the thing is all right, okay. You signed the tight end for $32 million. And I think it's an $8 million per year salary. It's an $8 million per year salary.
Yeah, you got most.
All right. You could have there were at least 15 quarterbacks in 2021 that, since you, Arthur Smith, are an offensive guru, since they hired you because you had all of this success in Tennessee, you had 15 people to choose from where you could have picked one of those people, signed them to that minimum range contract. Because see, the thing is now, and people keep forgetting, and I don't understand why. The quarterback market is not like it was when Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford came in, where you sign somebody to $130 million coming out of college with a $35 million signing bonus, and you're saddled with them for 7 years with 40% of your salary cap already.
They stopped that before that.
Over with.
Yeah, that's right. That at Sam Bradford. So
that's right. That's over with. That's over with. You played on rookie contracts now, no matter what your position is. And you're not counted that much against the salary cap. So the people that were saying, you gonna pay that man all that money to sit on the bench and learn, you damn right. Because see, that's what you have to do. Because see, right now
hold on 1 second, John, because I'm gonna stop you because we got about 3 or 4 minutes left.
Oh, okay. You don't got me crunk. You got me crunk.
Listen, just like water, if I don't turn you off, you'll keep flowing. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep you on.
Steve, I give you a 3 on that one. I give you a 3 on that one, right?
I wanted to get to Wallace real quick because Wallace is making some contrary, and which we appreciate. So I want to make sure I get all.
Boy, Wallace, hey,
Wallace, man, I love Wallace, man.
He don't play. We don't
I want to get his comments up. Wallace says, I think Pitts was the right choice with the circumstances that we were in because we needed players on the field instead of sitting behind Matt for 2 years. I'm going to come back to it. Wallace also says, but no team was willing to give them what they were asking for a team to move up in the 4th pick. That was true. I think I did hear where they didn't get anything that they wanted. I understand that. Wallace also says, but when they renewed Pitt's contract, they're going to have to give him a $300 million contract if they would have drafted the quarterback. And then the last comment he says, because when we drafted Pitts, we didn't think Julio wanted out and Ridley was doing what he's doing. Okay, so let me go back to the first thing, which is, to me, one of the most a fable worse than Jack and the Beanstalk. There is no book that tells you have to sit 2 years behind a starting quarterback when you get drafted. It has happened, but there's no SOP, standard operation procedure. There's nothing that tells you that is how it has to go. If I had a dime for every person that told me that whoever we drafted was going to sit behind them, see Patrick Mahomes, see Josh Allen, see Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was drafted in the 3rd round, and Matt Flynn, who they signed to a 3-year contract, never got on the field.
Never.
So he got paid though.
No, he got paid. He got paid.
Yeah.
And that's
Highway
he was the
robbery.
highest paid backup. So
hey, they paid me that much to hold the clipboard. I'm for it.
Look, and look, he won a Super Bowl 3 years later. No.
Steve, wasn't Matt Ryan wasn't going to be able to be traded until or we couldn't move on Matt Ryan until 2023 or 2024 anyway, right?
Well, at first we couldn't.
At the time.
Because, at the time. Well, no, I'm going to tell you why. We restructured Matt in March because we had to get under the salary cap.
Right.
What ended up with, and when I see Wallace talks about the Julio situation, I think that's why Matt got restructured as much as he did. I think they thought Julio was gonna help the team and restructure his contract, but kind of like Debo, I think he's saying, "No, y'all gonna pay me what I was supposed to get," which is why Julio's situation was never talked about. You didn't hear Julio say a word until the Shannon Sharp phone call.
I still don't know who that was on the phone.
That was Shannon Sharp. That was Julio. So when Wallace,
I still don't know who that was on the phone.
So when I see Wallace say that, trust me, Wallace, I hear you, brother. But at the same time, I just can't prescribe to that. I think if your franchise needs refreshing, if I'm bringing in a new coach, if I'm bringing in a new GM, if John's favorite quarterback is getting old, if all these things combined are happening, you need to get your quarterback now and worry about hurting feelings later, because that's the mistake that I think they made. And fellas, I apologize because I didn't mean to hold us this long, and I meant to get off by 8 o'clock. But sometimes when the talk is good and when Smitty doing his guard,
hey, I got a question before we.
I got to do his Jerry curl.
I got a question before we get out of here, and I want to leave y'all with this.
Go ahead.
I want to leave y'all with this.
Go ahead.
Knowing what we've been through the last 2 years, and we going forward, if Kyle Pitts doesn't show he's that guy this year, do you think about trading him next offseason?
Oh, that stings.
I can't trade him because he's not making that much money right now. I mean, unless I can't trade him at this point. The money that he's making is not. I don't think it's worth it.
But if someone offers you a first round pick, do you take it?
It depends on who the team offering me. If it's a team that's 2-15, yeah. If it's
other than that,
that's gonna give me a pick in the high 20s, I probably wouldn't do it.
Well, see, hey,
That's a great
Smitty,
question, man.
hey, Smitty, with the quarterback that's throwing him the ball, you ain't getting no first round draft pick because the quarterback is not allowing him. The quarterback is not allowing him to show what he can do.
But it's a.
You see what I'm saying? He being held back. He's really being held back.
It's a good point because, to his point, there is still a lot of potential left in Kyle Pitts. But y'all remember too, we have another receiver that's on the books for $11 million that I still think next year that will get us at least a second round pick. Think about it now. I take what you want to say personally about Calvin Ridley.
He was getting ready to be shipped to Philadelphia.
He's getting ready to get shipped, and Philadelphia is going to give up a first or second rounder.
This past year. Yeah, he was already. When they found out about that, they retracted that trade because that trade was damn near made official. But when that news broke, it was a done deal. And,
absolutely.
Oof.
Absolutely. Wallace, we appreciate you, brother. And Purdue, the disagreeing is the favorite part of doing debates like this because it's always good. It's all good. We appreciate the love. Fellas, going around the corner, Alberto, tell them where you are and how they can subscribe to you, brother.
So on YouTube, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Please subscribe to the channel. New content creator myself. Got some videos on there. Also, you can find me on Twitter under RI Falcons. DM me any questions that you got, and then we'll make a video out of it and get this thing rolling.
You the man, brother. I appreciate you as always. Right underneath me is the guru, the man. Smitty, tell them where you are.
I don't know about the guru, but I know about the comedian.
Shit.
Y'all know where to find me, man. Find me on Twitter at Fatboy Slim. Is right next to my name. You can find all my content from podcasting to writing to videos on YouTube. And my boy Alberto, who's at the top.
Yes,
that's my right-hand man. We do our thing every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. And we always thank Uncle Steve for coming in and joining us when he can.
Yes,
and
sir.
Next Monday, I won't have to go out and garden the garden. I will probably be here at 6 o'clock next Monday night, so we can talk some Falcons football.
I appreciate that, brother. And right at a corner from me, if y'all go to Magic City right around 3:30 after everything is done and all the business is done and behind the garbage can, looking behind, you might see in a white in a silk hat and some old Jerry curls still hanging on. Remember how they used to have the shag at the end, but everybody did that? No hair at the top. If you see him on the corner, that's that brother down there.
And we talking football too.
Let me get some
and all wide receivers and tight ends.
Oh, good Lord.
Y'all, I'm not being mean to John. Me and John go way back, man. Me and him, that's how we do it. That's how we talk. We brothers like that. And listen, everybody have a great evening. I'm going to try to catch some of this Monday night game and go up here and spend some time with the family. Until then, fellas, I appreciate all of y'all. We're going to do this again. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll catch y'all on Fridays. Friday at 1 o'clock, I'll have my picks for the week. Until then, man.
Go
y'all
Falcons,
good,
man. Let's
everybody be good. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate it.
Ryan just throwing another